This is the Night Owls Disc Golf Podcast. I'm Shane.
And I'm JP.
All right. And JP, I'm going to go skip. No, you know what? YouTube is up and running. Ooh. We have a video on YouTube now.
Excellent.
It has been uploaded and going, and not too soon, because at the same time we had an Instagram reel go viral.
Really?
Yeah, the Rainmaker one.
Oh, nice.
So Joe did what we were like brainstorming. I don't remember exactly who came up with the idea or anything, but it went back and forth like, oh, we want to take a rain, like a weather forecast. And I was like, it was either him or I was like, well, why don't you have Siri say it? Like, hey, what's the weather look like? And then,
okay.
And then he did an awesome cut and like cut to it. And it's awesome. Like, and it ended up being, well, this was like an hour and a half ago. It was already like 12K or something like that.
Nice,
so,
that's cool.
Yeah, so it was doing pretty well. So that was kind of nice. The YouTube video, on the other hand, has 2 views, and we have 1 subscriber, and I think it's me. So get out there, YouTube, Door Disc Golf.
Might want to promote that a little
I
more.
was going to say, yeah. So we put it up there, and then I think it just went live this morning. So tomorrow I'll probably sit down and figure out how to promote it. And then Friday, when you hear this, it should be promoted. So hopefully we'll have more than just 2 views and 1 subscriber. We'll see, though.
Cool.
Yeah. So social media shout-outs, door_disc_golf, and then night_owls_pod. So those are 2 Instagrams that we push on. And then doordisc.com. So that's where you can find all the products that we talk about. And probably find all the links and all that stuff. We have a page for that. So jump on there. And we do have a full functioning online shop and in-person shop. So something actually I realized that we don't mention enough, that we actually have a shop, a physical brick and mortar location. Someone messaged me and said, hey, do you have a actual shop? I'm like, yep. So for everybody out there, we do have a shop.
It exists. It's out there like my OnlyFans.
No. It's more concrete than your OnlyFans.
Well, literally.
Yeah, exactly. So concrete, yes, we do. So 4083 Main Street in Fish Creek. We're right on the main drag in Fish Creek. So come on down if you're around this area. If not, visit us on doordisc.com. So with that said, we have disc golf packages. So lodging packages at my lodging establishments now.
That's very cool.
Yeah, so we've been planning on doing it for a couple of years, and I had one of the discs sitting here so JP could see it, but I have a Wonder Bread stamp on a Black Fusion EMAC Truth for Julie's Park Cafe and Motel, which is one of our lodging establishments. But if you're ever interested, just jump on wherever. You can give us a call, jump in Instagram. We can kind of point you to it, but basically get a couple discs, get a 6-pack of beer, get a couple nice rooms, and then we'll show you where the disc golf courses are and go have fun.
That's cool.
Yeah. So it's a small upgrade to the room, but introduces disc golf to the area.
Yeah,
so,
that's awesome.
Yeah. So, or if you know anybody that's coming up this way that's never played that is interested, there you go.
Yeah.
So,
do you guys have baskets around the hotel?
Just at Countryside.
Okay.
Which has a couple acres.
Yeah.
So at Countryside we have some baskets. I should put one at the Countryside House too, the one in the corner.
Mm-hmm.
Man, why don't I have one there?
I don't know.
It makes 0 sense at all. So, but yeah, so there you go. So if you're ever wanting to come up to Door County, we have some lodging and we have some disc golf packages available. Why am I having a hard time saying? I always have a hard time saying stuff. But packages. So let's get serious.
Okay.
The form of a champion. What does that mean to you?
The form of a champion?
Of a champion.
I mean, in disc golf, you can kind of take it 2 ways, I guess. Mm-hmm. The actual physical, their throwing form, and then I guess just the makeup of what a supposed champion would look like all the skills and things coming into one unit or whatever you want to call it.
Sure.
Yeah.
So you're talking like physical, mental...
Right, like every aspect, like forms like Voltron. And then
Captain Planet.
Yeah, that too. Something like that.
With your powers combined. Okay. So the reason I bring that up is like everybody talks about the form of a champion. So you talk about baseball. And I won't lie, I was watching an anime about baseball.
Okay.
And it was kind of like it made my mind wander and I missed like half the episode, but not that it was that important. But it was one of those made my mind wander because they were talking about, you know, how they always get so involved with like how a champion is. Like you can't see it, but I'm a pro and I can see the form of a champion.
Sure.
So I was thinking, is there such a form in disc golf where you can just kind of watch somebody and know that they're going to be good? Because I think about there's some kids around here. You know, I don't want to name names or anything like that, but there's like some younger kids here that they're just phenoms at athletics.
Mm-hmm.
Is that true in disc golf?
I think people have aptitudes towards things.
Mm-hmm.
And if you hone those aptitudes, like raw talent, if you can hone that raw talent, you definitely have a chance at becoming better.
Yeah. I see that. Because, you know, you look at Paul McBeth, has a very particular form, and everybody thought that he was or is the greatest disc golfer in the world, has some of the cleanest, smoothest form. But that rhetoric has started to fade with Isaac Robinson, Gannon Burr, Drew Gibson, I've heard thrown into that. Like, but you look at all 3 of those, 4 of those, 5 of those people, Simon Lizotte, blah, blah, blah. I don't think they throw similar at all.
No, I don't think so either.
Yeah, and like, you know, I think Mason Ford has some really clean form as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess what I'm trying to say is there a true form in disc golf that is the right form? So pitching, there is a right form for pitching. For batting, there is a right form for batting. There's certain mechanics that have to be hit or else it's just not going to be successful,
Right.
And kicking in soccer, there's certain form that has to be done or else there's no velocity, you know, or you're not going to get the spin that you want.
Yeah.
You're not, I don't know anything about soccer. I'm just making that up. So is there that in disc golf yet? Or is it still being discovered?
I think it's still being discovered because like every player, obviously like the same motion, but in order to create that snap or, you know, get that distance, everybody's doing something like tweaking something in their body to like have them feel like they're doing it correctly. Like you can always like analyze, like break down, look at someone, you're like, okay, my form's similar to this, my form's similar to that. But if it's working for you, why does it matter?
Right. So I think there's a difference between style and form. I think you're talking about style.
Okay.
Because I think you still have to have certain points in every throw that have to be met.
Well, yeah,
right?
Sure.
You know, like, so if Danny Lindahl were here, he would probably say you have to hit the power box. You have to hit, you know, there's certain, I don't even know what the stuff he calls. The power pocket, there you go.
Yeah.
You know, I'm sure there's a certain point where you have to engage hips, and you're asking the wrong person whether those things are what it is. I mean, I'm just trying to hit my reach back now, and my game is completely off just by reach back. You know, so yeah, I wonder if we're to the point where we can actually make true judgments on what is proper and correct form for the, I guess, to make a pinnacle athlete.
Okay.
Yet.
But I mean, so yeah, I think you adapt your style to the form. Is that?
I think so. Yeah. I think you can still have your own style within the correct form.
But like, okay, so obviously, like the object is to get the disc, you know, throw it as accurately and as far as possible.
Mm-hmm.
But you look at how successful people are at doing that. Who's throwing the furthest? Who's throwing the most accurate?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like whatever the goal is, that's what your form should try to match.
Okay.
Like, you know, like, okay, say you're like just trying to throw a clean line or whatever, like, okay, your form's going to do this rather than like overpowering it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like you're going to change something in that form to maybe be a little more accurate or like hit your release point. If you're going for I mean, not saying that you can't, but if you're going for distance, maybe like the trajectory, like you release a little, you know, a little different, like your form's going to change. I don't think that's style.
Okay, true. Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know.
Yeah, I would say, because I mean, I don't have the same throw for an approach that I do for a kind of a mid-range upshot as I do for a driver.
Right. And then, you know, with throwing a sidearm or a flick, obviously, well, those mechanics as well, you have the same, those mechanics are the same as well. You know, like you get follow through forward, you know, most people try to have their wrist or palm facing up, you know, when they're releasing. Scott Stokely was doing something, he's got a video where he's like actually like more flicking rather than like a longer release, just trying to generate more spin. But, you know, I look at people that throw forehand, and I'm like, well, Chris Clemens, he's got a really clean forehand. Eagle throws with a ton of power. I don't know, like, if his form isn't exactly what it should be, but probably is. But
considering he's promoting injury, you know, I mean, maybe not, you know, or maybe he's just.
Well, I mean, it's his own fault that he did that 360. You know?
Yeah,
but I think, like basketball, everybody's kind of got, you know, their own like way of like shooting a free throw or a jump shot. You know, it's the elbow, wrist, you know, all have to be in line. Like that's considered perfect form with the, you know, wrist snap, follow through, spread the fingers, all that.
Right.
That's just basic, but I think different sizes of athletes, you adjust differently.
Yeah, but there's still that constants. There's still those constants. So I can talk about sports that I know very well, like in football, if you're talking line or cradle points for the ball or throwing. I mean, there's always still consistents that they're non-negotiable in the sport.
Yeah.
You know, if you need to get to a certain gap or protect a certain gap or push someone a certain way, your first step has to be, or else you're not going to get it done. Or if you want to throw the ball at a certain player, there's certain things that your arm has to do and your body mechanics have to follow, or else it's not going to be efficient.
Sure.
So, you know, so here's my thought on it. I don't think disc golf has that yet. I don't think we have those constants yet. I think we're learning them. I think there are some things that we can say that, yes, we need to have, you know, a certain form, you know, straighter is better, you know, like wasted movement we need to take out of the throw. There's certain things that are getting there, but I don't think that we have that perfect form yet. Because I don't think we're pushing these discs, the equipment that we have, I don't think we're pushing them to their limits yet. And even the top pros, I don't think they're pushing them to their limits yet.
Sure.
And how often do you see top pros throwing 13 and 14 speed discs?
Oh, very rarely.
Very, very rarely.
I mean, you see like maybe a couple, like it's labeled 13, but like a Raider.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people are starting to throw that on the DD squad. Or Innova, I mean, I don't really see anybody throwing a Corvette, maybe an Excal here and there. But no, and then, you know, Latitude had the 14 and 15. They had Rakuten and Michelin.
Michelin, yeah.
And one of them had like the dimples on the top.
Oh, they both did.
Did they? Okay.
Yeah.
And those very rarely, no one could get them up to speed, so they never got thrown. It was a novelty disc.
Yep. Yeah, and that's what I'm thinking. I mean, and the progression of the equipment is incredible. But I think where the equipment is now, the technology of the equipment is now, I don't think the players are matching what the equipment can hold.
Yeah.
Because you think when let's even go back further. When the Orc first came out, that was a overstable driver. Like high-speed driver. Like it was the pinnacle of drivers. Now it's pretty much a straight to flippy control driver. So fairway, basically. I mean, so for me, I look at it and say, I don't think we're there yet. And I think the equipment is well beyond what the parameters even of our top elite level pros can do with it yet. So anyways, that's all I was looking at, just form of a champion. So I don't think we have that form of a champion yet. I think it's still being...
I'd be really interested. You know, I've watched a number of Danny Lindahl's videos, and then there's, you know, Overthrow.
Yeah.
They do a lot of things with form. And then Simon, this past week, I think it was last week, he was promoting a new video on Instagram. I forgot what it's called because I wanted to see it. But I'd like to watch maybe those back videos, like back to back, you know, like anything that has to do with form, and just see, okay, they're talking about this in common. They're talking about that in common, and just see how everything lines up.
Exactly. Yeah. And I don't think we've had that sports science pushed into disc golf yet.
Sure.
There was that random video that I kind of I think I spoke about it on the podcast about the mechanical arm, where the guy was
Yes.
he was some sort of engineer or something,
Yeah.
actually figuring out the physics of a throw. And he got to a point where, yes, he could get to throw the disc. It was just a releasing mechanism.
Right.
But he said the amount of, there wasn't a disc when I was watching the end of the video, there wasn't a disc that could hold the torque that the arm could put on it. And I'm thinking, like, man, I wonder if you could take that engineering and adapt it to sports science, human sports science, and figure out what the best way is to, this is ideally what your form should look like. And they did a little bit with, who was it that threw? It was Ezra Aderhold. There was a couple guys that threw in that they put all the dots on them. And then it went through.
Yeah.
I forgot what it was.
I
It was
forgot
like
what
a
that
golf
was.
thing, but they adapted it.
Yes. Yeah.
So, and I haven't seen or heard anything about that since.
I don't know. I mean, it's kind of like one of those video game kind of things where it's like they're matching, trying to get like the most realistic
Yeah.
thing with, like you said, with all like the ping pong balls or dots or whatever it is on them.
Yeah. And then there just wasn't enough run up room and all that stuff to kind of get accurate. But
yeah, I remember seeing that as well.
I'd love to see that dove into a little bit more. But it'll come. In time, it'll come. But I think that's kind of some of those next progressions to see the big evolutions in the sport. Because you think of people like, is it Bradley Williams that held their distance record? What am I thinking?
Scott Withers?
No, it's not Scott
No.
Withers.
Oh, shoot. What's his name? He's been on podcasts recently. Not Scott Withers.
Anyways, he's on the Boss. You look on the Boss.
Yeah.
The champ Blizzard Boss. I think that's Bradley Williams. Why am I?
No.
It's not Bradley Williams. Anyways, he, dude threw 1,100 feet. Now, yes, out in the middle of the desert, tailwind, threw it super high, super light discs. There's advantages. But nobody else threw the disc that far. Why? And what mechanics are there?
Yeah, that's crazy to think. I mean, he the guy that threw that did start really, really young. He started playing when he was really young.
Yep. So, but yeah, I'm excited to see where the sport's going to go. So that's all I was talking about. Just, do we have the form of a champion yet? And I think I politely say no, not yet. I don't think
David Wiggins.
Wiggins, yes.
Yes,
David Wiggins Jr. Yep. I don't think we have that form of a champion yet. I think it's coming. I think it'll be here. I think we'll see it in our lifetimes. But as of right now, I don't think the form of an athlete or the form of a champion is quite there yet. I think we have glimpses of it in certain people, but I don't think it's all put together in one person yet.
That makes sense.
So, I think Macbeth was maybe the closest person to that at one point, but I don't think he's there.
Yeah, it's kind of with the way, like you said, sports science is going. It'd be interesting to see, like, have them figure out, like, proportionately who is like the considered, like, what height, arm length, reach back, all that weight, how that all transfers into it.
Yeah. It always makes me think of the study they used to do with fighter pilots and how they used to take averages of fighter pilots when they first started making airplanes.
Oh, yeah.
Say they used to not fit airplanes to the pilots. So now they actually fit the pilots to the airplanes. Back in the day, they just took an average, and what they realized is that, and I don't know why I'm going off on this tangent, but that's what we do. What they realize is that there's no such thing as average, because they take, so if someone's 6'10", next guy's 5'9", and they take 100 people in between and they find that average, nobody actually fits in that average.
Sure, yeah.
And what they had to realize is that we're just going to have to make it custom for these people, because even if we limit the people that can go in there, so it's only 6'1" to 5'11" that can be in these planes, they still don't fit in these planes. And they're like, what do they call it? The fatigue levels just from the planes not fitting them and all that stuff just throws it way out the window.
Sure.
So it was a neat report to listen to. Anyways, I'm a dork. So there we go. So hopefully we find a form of a champion pretty soon. So what'd you get today or this week? Throw a hanger flipper?
I just got some stuff in today, actually. So Joe Paulson, our social media guy and helper at the shop, he let me throw his Calvin Heimberg Toro last week.
Oh yeah, we're doing a video this week.
So I ended up getting one of those in the mail today. And then I also got a Nathan Queen Color Glow Wraith, 2 Series Wraith. And what else? I got a Halo Valkyrie.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
So I'm kind of excited. It's really
Who's,
pretty.
is that a...
It's not a Tour Series disc. It's
Just a Halo Valk?
Just a Halo Valkyrie. No one
Wow.
has it as a Tour Series disc.
I don't know of many people that throw them, but
I don't either.
they're nostalgic to me.
Yeah,
Like, that was the very
absolutely.
first disc. Well, you and I, very first disc we had. So
Yeah, that's kind of why I got it. I was
Yeah.
like, oh. I was actually I was looking, because I knew they had Halo Mambas, and I was looking for a Halo Sonic as well. Because Joe told me he was ordering one of those.
Yeah.
I was like, ooh, Halo Sonic. That sounds kind of fun.
I'm excited to I don't know why I don't have one of those bags. That fits my game so well. I don't know why I don't have one of those in the bag, but I should.
Yeah.
A Sonic, but...
I don't. I just want to try it out. So, but yeah, I'm definitely gonna throw the Valkyrie. I might just hold on to the Toro. I don't know if I'll really throw it because like I really like the Zone. I like the feel when I threw the Toro though. Like it was pretty overstable.
It's very Zone culprit. Like,
Yeah.
in that realm.
Right. Yeah, like Harpish.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
kind of what it reminded me of.
Very
And then
nice.
yeah, the Wraith. I don't know. Maybe I will throw. I might kick out the Grace or something in my bag. We'll see.
Okay.
Who knows?
The Wraiths, I mean, Wraiths are Grace clones. No.
Grace.
Graces are Wraith clones. Yeah.
Yeah.
The other way around.
Right.
So, me, all I got were the custom stamp, the Julie stuff. I got a trespass. It's an ice trespass with the Julie stamp on it, and then I have this black EMAC. So there you go, Mr. Eric McCabe. I'm really supporting your discs here. So that's what I got. And both of those will be throwers. I'm going to put them straight into the bag.
Oh, is the ice disc a Lucid X?
It's not Lucid X.
Oh, it's not Lucid X.
No,
just regular.
just
old,
clear.
Yep, that's cool.
And then, now I'll get to that at the bottom. So here's the preview of what we got going on. So we'll do a listener bag, and we're going to do Ben Kurowski, who is one of our team peeps, and he is the gentleman that runs kind of the Green Bay. We have two tournaments that we kind of help sponsor. He runs both of those, and then he runs a Monday Night League there as well. So with that, we'll go over his bag, and then we'll go over our picks from Idlewild and PCS Sula. We'll just mention that it is happening. Really, I don't think we're going to talk about it because it's already started. So we're not going to do our picks or anything like that.
Only thing I really know about it right now is that James Conrad flew over. Mm-hmm. He's playing the course blind, and he's leading.
Yeah, I saw that he was leading, and I was like, that is awesome. And it's by a couple strokes.
Yeah.
Not commandingly, but
I don't remember if he was tied with somebody, but I was like, oh, that's interesting.
I think he's like 10 under 13.
Yeah, that's wild.
Yeah, incredible. So, and then we do have a random question. We'll have two random questions because these dingbats got me started on this conspiracy theories podcast. I don't believe in any of this stuff, but it is so fun to listen to.
I haven't listened to that. I was gonna text Jordan the other day and ask him about it, but he's super busy with
He's at Masters
Worlds.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, Jordan who was on last week, is at Masters Worlds right now. And right now he's sitting about middle of the pack. 2 rounds in. He's averaging about 940 disc golf.
And where is it?
He was at Black, and then
Northwoods Black.
And Northwoods Black, and then Eureka Temp.
Oh, okay.
So those are the 2 he's at right now. So it's basically Ledgestone courses. So he's getting a free practice round at Ledgestone.
Yeah.
So
Saw Holly Finley got an ace the other day.
saw that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw that. So yeah, I'm excited. Good for her. Yeah, I think I saw it just on Instagram.
That's
or
where I
something
saw
like
it.
that.
I didn't realize Holly Finley played Masters.
I didn't know she was 40.
I was like, what?
Or 30. She might be baby master, but
Yeah,
even
right,
still. That's incredible. So, yeah, so then we'll talk about that, and we have some shop updates, and I have some pretty cool shop updates, and then we are going to talk about our 1,000 Instagram follower giveaway. So we're only 200 away. We're a little less than 200 away. So I think we'll just get it there, and we'll give away something real good.
Nice.
And I'll start promoting it. We'll start doing some stuff online. We're going to talk about it. And then I will give you the details on the next Friday podcast. So here we go. Listener bag. So let's talk about Ben Kurowski. Do you have it up quickly?
Oh, yeah, I got it right here. Wait.
Okay. If you want to start, then I can get it up here pretty quick. So, sorry, it's digital. We don't work in this digital realm. We like paper. All right. So I'll start with his putters. And so putts and approach. What he has, Ben, he has a penny putt by Lone Star Disc. He has an MVP Electron Soft Envy. He has an Innova Ricky Tour Series Pig. He has a Clash Steady Popcorn. Speaking of, are you done with those popcorn discs yet?
Yeah, I'll bring them. They're sitting on top of my my cart right now.
Oh, nice, nice.
Yeah.
And then he has the Clash Steady Popcorn, and then the Discraft Fierce first run, and he has 2 of those.
Nice. Okay, so mids, new Discmania C-Line MB3, Discmania Evolution Method, a Castaplex Soft Cax Z, must be K1 Soft, I'm thinking, and then an MVP Neutron Crave, and I see that continued over onto the next one, so that must be the end of the mids.
Yep. So then fairways, he has a Neutron MVP Neutron Terra. He has a Clash Signature Ginger. He has a Yaccoon Phoenix Foo. I don't know enough about Yaccoon.
They have some weird naming things going on.
Yeah. A Halo Hawkeye, aka FD. He has a Discmania S-Line Instinct, a Discraft ESP Stalker, a Discraft ESP Proto Passion. He has ESPN, but I'm sure that's not. It's just a typo. And MVP Proton Volt. And then I'll let you continue with the last of them.
Okay, Latitude 64 Opto River, Innova Star Valkyrie, Innova 2021 Sexton Firebird, Innova Star Thunderbird, a Finish Line Era F2, I don't know what
Factory Second.
Oh, Factory Second, okay.
Yeah.
A Discraft Hades, a Discmania Cloudbreaker 2, and a Discmania Cloudbreaker 3.
Very good. So the only, well, not the only thing. So I'll start with saying that he is very driver high-end heavy. Let's say high-end heavy. I like some of his choices. I don't know much about the Terra.
It's a newer MVP mold. I think it's around an 848502, I want to say.
Fairly stable then.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then the Hawkeye and the anyways, the Hawkeye is an FD. Love it. The Instinct is slightly less stable than the Hawkeye, or is it the other way around?
Other way around.
Okay.
Instinct is like an Explorer.
That's
7502.
Right. Yep. And then the Stalker and the Passion, don't know much about. I threw the Stalker for a little bit.
I feel like the Stalker is close. Maybe it's a little less stable than an FD. Mm-hmm. They seem similar.
I think it's faster. I think it's a 9. I think we'd have to look that up.
Yeah.
Passion is the Page Pierce. There's something about that rim.
I've held one once, and I was like, "This feels really odd."
It does. Yep.
Yeah.
It does. It's almost groovish. Like it has this weird, strange, like.
It's almost like it has a bead on the wing.
Yes.
And I felt that, and it just, when I gripped the disc, it felt weird. And it almost felt it almost felt like there was another bead, like, underneath it as well.
Because the Scorch has a similar feel on the rim, like the bead. Similar. But there's just something different about the Passion. There's like a little bubble on the inside.
Right.
I don't know. It's a bit different.
Because I wanted to try one out. I was like, no, this just doesn't feel good in my hand.
Yeah. But, I mean, people love them. And they, from what I understand, they throw very well. I can't get it. I always tell people when in their shop, there is a disc in every line that is basically identical.
Right.
It's just how you feel. If you hold it and you're like, I like the way this feels, that's the one you should buy.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter the manufacturer. Because if you pick one up and you're like, ooh, I kind of like the numbers, but I'll show you 5 others. That'll be the same thing. So, but yeah. So, and then the River, awesome disc, love them, glidey. Valkyrie, we were just talking about how the Valkyrie, like, nobody really throws Valkyries anymore, but they're a fantastic
Ben does, apparently.
disc. Yeah, exactly. So does, Ben. 21 Sexton Firebird. And the F2, the Era, great. And then Cloudbreaker 2, Cloudbreaker 3. Is there a big difference between those two discs? I don't throw them, so.
I know the Cloudbreaker 2s that I have are a little flatter than the Cloudbreaker 3s that I currently have. And, the Cloudbreaker 3s are a special blend plastic compared to the Cloudbreaker 2s. Cloudbreaker 2s were still made by Innova, and Cloudbreaker 3s were made by, I think that's the start of like DD kind of testing out not DD, Discmania kind of testing out the plastic to see if they could start making S-Line.
Sure. Okay. So it might have still been in the DD factories, but at least it's still a Discmania stamp, just like
right.
Okay.
Yeah, it's Discmania made, or like Latitude Discmania made.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
I do think, to me, the Cloudbreaker 3, I think, is a little less stable than depending on like color and everything, I think it's a little less stable than the Cloudbreaker 2.
Okay. I know that I go to throw those and I just can't. So, I'm never been a huge fan of them. I've only tried to throw them a few times. I had a few C-Line DD3s, never agreed with them. And I started trying to throw the DDXs, and I loved the DDXs.
Yeah. See, the DDX to me felt... there's something about that disc. Like, I tried throwing it, and I was like, There's just something a little off with it for me.
It's a wide rim.
Yeah.
It's a wide
rim. I think
rim.
That's what got it for me. It was just a little too wide.
Yep. So I just say you're wide rim heavy, especially with the courses that we play around Wisconsin. It is wide rim heavy, and I know your home course, Pinecrest, it's a fairly short wooded. So I would say maybe sometimes if you end up in the woods, especially on finish, if you throw a good drive and it still finishes bad, it's probably what's happening here.
Sure.
Is just wide rims. They move a lot. And even once they hit the ground, they move a lot.
Yeah.
So that's why you get down to those lower speeds, like the Hawkeye, something like that. You stay in that realm, river. They don't move as much, especially if you get into the mids. But as far as everything goes, I like your putter choices, just don't have a judge. So I don't know how effective a putter you're going to be.
To be honest, try that Clash Ginger. I think it's kind of like a like FD3 overstable kind of disc. They just came up with a bunch of different newer molds, not different I should say, but newer molds recently, and that was one of them. Nico has a signature disc. I forgot what it is. There's the ginger.
It is the ginger.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah.
So there's the ginger. I think another one was like the soda.
Yeah. They have the cookie, the milk, the they got a lot out there right now. They just dropped a ton of them. Not a ton, but I think they've dropped 5 or 6 more discs.
Okay.
So I'm really interested to get their full line, but they're just hard to get right now. You can pick them up on Infinite at the present moment. Mm-hmm. They're the local states.
Whoever sent us the other 3 discs, we're interested.
Exactly. Please. 4. Because there was the mint, the
berry popcorn,
and then what was the other one that we had? I don't know. Whatever.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. But yeah, those ones, I threw them. I loved them all. I thought they were all pretty good. So, berry.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, so there you go. Do you have anything else to say about his bag?
Yeah, just really driver heavy. That's like what I really noticed. I don't have anything too much more to add. The penny putter, like the Vector 1, Vector 2, like not much difference there. Just the stiffness or, you know.
And they float, which is fantastic.
Yeah, that's awesome. The CAC, someone else was talking about the CAC Z.
We were just talking about it last week. Yeah. Someone else had it.
Right. And then, the Crave, I think someone else had the Crave last week too. So, I don't know much about that disc either. But
the Hokum, it's one of the Hokum discs. And it's a fantastic disc. Slightly understable, if I remember rightly.
Okay. Is it one of those weird Speed 6?
Yes.
Like we were talking about? Same thing with the CACs?
Yeah.
Like it's in that...
Kind of has that weird,
Okay.
That leopardish rim.
Yeah.
Yep. So
that makes sense.
I like it. Yeah, I would say I did this a lot too when I first started to disc golf because I loved wide rims. I mean, they felt comfortable. They were easier to throw. They corrected a lot of my mistakes. And I'm not saying this is what's happening, but I think as a newer golfer, and Ben's 3 years maybe? I think he's been golfing for maybe 2.5, something like that. Or maybe he was, I can't remember exactly. Of course, we have his video up on Instagram if you want to watch it. You can know all about that. It's always to grab wide rim drivers. And now I tend to grab mids and putters more often than I grab wide rims now. Because there's maybe 3 or 4 wide rims that I put up there. And wide rims are fairway control and distance drivers for me. And I have a few that I throw. The rest of them are mids and putters. So, all right. Well, good job, Ben. Keep it up. Just get a judge. Solve all your problems. All right. With that said, we will move on to our picks from last week. So last week, none of us really did that great.
I was trying to remember if we made FPO picks.
We did not make FPO picks.
Wow. Yeah,
because we got on to making fun of me for the going out of order, the picks out of order. So, so
that big sidetrack.
Yes. So I did Wysocki, P. McBee, and Simon. JP did Simon, Matteo, Freeman in that order, and then Jordan did Klein, Wysocki, and Dickerson. Jordan did pretty darn well. Klein, he had at third. Dickerson, he had a second, and then nobody had Robinson. So we all kind of fell short. I didn't have anybody in the top 3, and you did not either.
No.
So everybody fell off. In the women, we had women, Allen, Gannon, Scoggins were the winners. And then on the men, Robinson, Dickerson, and Klein in that order. So good job. I have to say, unfortunately, I haven't had time to watch any coverage at all. I watched a couple highlights, but that's it. So I don't have much to say about the LWS Idlewild Open, unfortunately. So, and the only other one we have going on for the next one is the PCS Sula. We're not going to make picks for PCS Sula because they've already started, and Conrad is in the lead right now. So we'll just say, good job. European swing happens. From what I understand, I believe Macbeth, Lazat, there's Perkins, Conrad. There's quite a few pros that are going over there now. And I'm sure Eagle would be over there as well, or might even still be over there. I don't think he's going to play, though.
Yeah, so Conrad is tied at -6 with, let's say, Hulti Jensen. I don't know. And then Thomas Gilbert's in 3rd. Yeah, Barsby's in 4th, tied with Kevin Jones. And then it's a lot of people. Vinyl Makala's in 8th. He's a lot of people that I don't really recognize other than that. Eric Oakley, even 14. James Proctor +1. Yeah, so, and then women, I don't think there's a lot of FPO.
I think Paige is over there.
She is not.
Oh, really?
Maybe she's coming over for the European Championship.
Yeah, maybe.
But it's right now Annika Steen at +2. A lot of. I think it's just a lot of local women.
Tater there?
No, she's still injured.
Oh, with her elbow or something like that, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So she is not.
All right. Well, Christmas Tar, heal up well. Hope to see you back. All right. So I guess we'll get into our random questions. So I'm going to start with mine. And this is that ridiculous conspiracy theory.
Okay.
So I read a conspiracy theory, or I listened to a conspiracy theory podcast about cosmic fungi. So what the theory is that some 10,000 years ago, however many, that humans were playing with pigeons in caves and contracted some sort of fungus. This is true, honest to goodness. So I'm not making fun of anybody. I'm just saying the facts of how I heard them. And
playing with pigeons in caves.
Well, I'm oversimplifying it.
Oh, okay.
They could, when they were living in caves, I guess they were doing whatever with pigeons, eating them or doing whatever,
sure.
but they were in wherever.
Okay.
And they contracted a fungus. And the fungus is where you see the jump in civilization once the fungus kind of took over our bodies. And that's why you see such a huge jump in civilization from so many thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of years of people just living in caves. And then all of a sudden we're building cities. And so here's my question.
Okay.
With that frame of reference, so you get it? You have any questions about it?
No, I'm good.
Okay, we'd be asking the wrong person anyways.
Yeah, it was Jordan.
Yeah, exactly. This is where Jordan or Kane would be really...
Boy, we should have had him. Yeah. Okay, yeah.
So would, or do you think that the fungus is what helps us get to the champion's form?
I kind of know. Where did the fungus come from?
I that's very important. Okay. The meteor that killed all the dinosaurs,
Okay.
it was riding the meteor. So it's space fungus.
That's kind of where my brain went to when you were mentioning the cave thing and everything.
Yeah.
Obviously fungus makes sense. It likes to grow. It grows in dark, kind of dank places.
Yeah.
So space fungus came here on a meteor.
That destroyed quite a few of the animals, and then the cosmic cloud that covered the earth.
Yeah.
As the theory goes, then the dark, damp earth happened, and it spread like crazy, killed everything else, and then kept alive the ones that it wanted to continue to procreate.
So it just talked to the other people.
As a super organism.
Yeah, super organism.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. Sure. I think it could help us get there.
Okay.
Why not?
All right.
Because I keep hearing how plants can communicate with each other, and all that.
Where are you hearing this at? Are you having like casual conversations with guys on the street or what?
No, it came up randomly somewhere.
Okay, sure.
Another conspiracy kind of thing.
Okay.
Did you ever see, what was the movie with Mark Wahlberg?
There's a lot of them.
No, it's
Boogie Nights or
no. I think it was an M. Night Shyamalan movie.
Okay.
Where like the plants were out to kill people. I think it was called like The Happening or something like that. It was
heck
based
if
on
I
a
know.
book. Yeah, I don't know, but kind of a hokey kind of movie. But yeah, like pollen, it was out to like destroy people and whatnot.
Well, that's some of the concerns that people had about the fungus.
Yeah.
Is that how it reproduces as spores. And so that's why we can never get rid of this fungus. We can never, and supposedly there's ways to get rid of it, but even if you can, it's just in the air. So you're just going to suck it back up. And it's going to reinfect you.
So there's so many questions I have about this fungus.
Well, supposedly that's what turns us sentient, is the fungus. So the fungus is actually sentient, not humans.
So it's just riding our brains.
Exactly. So I say, if there's fungus inside of me, step up your game.
You're right. You should
step up your game, fungus.
Right. Or maybe the fungus can only reach a certain point, and then it's just like brain fog.
True. Okay.
Like you can only cover so much area that you have inside your head, and it's like, well, I can only be this smart.
Sure. So they can only populate so much, right?
Right.
So maybe that's why I'm so smart, is because I have such a big head, and there's so much fungus.
Maybe.
Yeah, they call it gray matter. It's actually fungus.
And then me with my allergies, I'm blowing all that fungus out. So
see, we have issues here.
Yeah.
And if these sentient beings are what make us conscious beings, like I said, step up your game. There's a lot of issues I have, and why aren't you doing anything about it? All right, we done with that one?
Sure.
All right. From Jordan, there is another random question that is, as parents, he says, since we both have kids, what kids' movies have you seen that is definitely too scary for a lot of kids? And he said when he was a kid, he remembers seeing Labyrinth, and it terrified him. And I would second that. I felt like that was a terrifying movie.
I like that movie.
Yeah, I thought it was
Is it?
terrifying.
I just thought it was.
Who was the main actor? The Bono? No,
David Bowie.
Bowie. That's who it was.
Yeah, and he's an interesting fellow for sure to be in that movie. And then Jennifer Connelly was the main, her brother was kidnapped,
Yeah.
little brother, baby, and then she goes through the labyrinth and meets a cast of characters.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
she tries to help get the kid back from David Bowie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see how that's a little scary.
Yeah. Well, I think it's the stuff that's in it, like the characters that are in it and everything.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and he says he's not sure if it's considered a kid's movie, but it was only rated PG. I think it was a kid's movie.
I think it was.
promoted
It was kind of promoted that. Yeah.
Yep.
It's so funny thinking back how movies that are R-rated or what movies are rated back in the 90s or 70s, the amount of violence or things that they show and what they how that has evolved, how some Marvel movies are pushing rated R with things they show, but this rated R being desensitized
Yes.
has the violence. There's more violence probably in
for
movies
sure.
for sure than what there used to be, and
Right.
how it's progressed. And yeah,
Right.
pretty crazy.
Well, they make fun of that in Hot Shots.
Yeah.
With the death counts and things like that.
Yeah.
So, and then let's see. Yes, there were quite a few that I remember watching as a kid. Why is this a kid's movie? It scared the crud out of me. Nightmare Before Christmas was one.
Okay.
I was because I forgot. And just recently I was like, oh, yeah, let's watch it. And Malachi's 8 years old. Malachi and I sat down to watch it. And I was like, I'm going to change this, because he was curled up next to me, eyes wide open, just watching this. And I'm like, you good? And he's like, I was like, you want to watch something else? He's like, yeah.
Oh, okay.
So that. Corpse Bride. So it's another.
I like that
Corpse
movie a lot.
Bride. Yeah. It's a good movie, but it's the depiction of death in it is incredible.
Yeah.
So for a younger kid, Malachi wouldn't like that.
Sure.
He'd be sleeping next to us that night. And then Hocus Pocus when I was a kid.
Okay.
That one used to kind of scare me, especially with Billy, the dead guy that
yeah.
popped out and cut the stitches off his
Yep.
mouth. And yeah.
We made the kids watch that during Halloween.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Did it scare him?
No, not too bad.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And it was the whole eating children thing. It was a bit
Okay.
weird on that one for me. But yeah, that one scared me a little bit.
Yeah,
But
I forgot about the eating.
yeah, that was the whole purpose of them chasing them around, because they
Right.
had to eat their souls, remember?
Yep.
And the creepy Bette Midler was sucking kids' souls out. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember Dark Lab, or was it Dark Crystal?
Yes. Yeah.
That movie is kind of Labyrinth.
It's like puppets.
Yeah. Yeah. That movie got me a little bit when I was younger. The Secrets of Nim.
Yes.
Did you ever, the animated movie
Yep.
with all the rats of Nim.
Yeah.
That was kind of I remember watching that on a Saturday morning cartoon kind of thing. It was on TV. I was like, oh, that's kind of weird. And then movies recently that we watched with the kids was Paranorman, which is a stop motion kind of animation, Corpse Bride or yeah. So Dempsey, when we first got it, he's like, ooh, looks good, and then because he's it's animation. But then he got freaked out because the zombie, kid sees ghosts and they're walking around.
And doesn't Paranorman have a dead dog too, like a zombie dog or something like that, or is that?
Yes.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah, and then there's zombies that raise from the dead.
Yeah.
And it what's another kind of scary movie? Coraline.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. I mentioned that one
Coraline. Yeah. The evil mother, sewing buttons on the kid's eye.
Yes.
Making dolls and stuff like that. That's pretty freaky.
It is. That is deranged. It's fairly deranged. Yeah.
And then she's going through the world trying to, she's got trying to figure out not a mystery. Well, it's kind of a mystery, but getting her parents back and stuff
Yeah. And she meets all the kids with the button eyes and all that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's pretty creepy.
So yeah, those are some on the top of my head.
Yeah. So hopefully you enjoyed kids' movies and cosmic fungi. So, and I got it. It's from The Encounters of the Third Kind or something like that. The podcast that was.
Yeah,
from.
I forgot what it's called.
Theories of the Third Kind is what it's called. So, it was good. Yeah, these guys were they've just been hounding this thing, and I'm like, all right, let's give it a try, because I'm just kind of getting bored with the podcast I have, and I have a lot of podcasts. I just get bored with them every once in a while, and I want to freshen something up.
Yeah.
And I download it, and I've been listening to like Bigfoot, theories on like Loch Ness, like all these weird things. None of them have grabbed me at all. I mean, they grab me because they're fun, entertaining.
Yeah.
And they remind me, because I listen to sci-fi a lot, like sci-fi books, like even like teen sci-fi. I don't know, like I Am Number 4, and you know, some of those.
Sure.
I love those books. They're just fun to listen to, and they're mindless. And that's what they kind of remind me of. A lot of these theories are like, this is like a book in one of those series, you know. So yeah, that's it. But it's fun, you know. But I know there's some people that really take this stuff seriously. So I'm not saying it's not. I'm saying it's weird.
I think there's no other way to put it.
No, there's no other way. Nothing's grabbed me yet. So, all right, shop updates. We will be getting quick sticks in, and then which are the extendo poles for getting your discs out of hard to reach areas. And we also have Ace's Fly Dies is going to actually put about 10 of our 10 discs. We're sending him 10 discs. He's going to dye them. We're going to sell them retail in our shop. He'll send them back to us. He's based out of Colorado. His Instagram shows some fantastic work. So we will get some of those in, and he'll be our in-house dye guy.
That's awesome.
So in-house. So he will be our dye guy for Door Disc Golf. So
that's awesome.
We're going to send him some stuff. He's going to dye it up, and then we'll have it in the shop or and online to buy. So keep an eye out on that. And then, like I said, we'll do 1,000 Instagram follower giveaway. I'll have all the details ready for next week. And we'll introduce that. But outside of that, is there anything else?
Not that I can think of right now.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Not even OnlyFans?
It's lukewarm right now.
Oh, man. I'm getting them there, guys. Don't worry. It'll come. More ladies. Or however you identify. All right. Here we go. On to the next Monday episode. We'll see you then. Hear you then. Talk to you then. Keep us up, par. Peace.